It's November 10, 2022. I'm Todd Dunn. It's a little bit after noon, and today I'm at the waterfront in Southwest Harbor. And what I want to do today is talk about public access to the water and to beaches outside of Acadia National Park. And the reason I want to talk about that is, you may come here for a day and not want to pay the $30 it costs to go into the national park, but you do, say, want to go to the beach for a little while. So where can you go? Or you may, have a boat that you want to launch. Where can you go? So I'm going to talk about public beach access outside Acadia National Park, and with an emphasis on where there are actual beaches you can go down to. Now, outside of Acadia National Park, there's surprisingly little access to the water and less access to beaches. Now, reasons for that is pretty simple. Even though this is an island that probably has the better part of 100 miles of shore, when you count all the little harbors and coves and Somme Sound, most of it that's outside the park, 99+%, is privately owned. And in order to get down to the water, you're going to have to trespass on somebody's property. But there are a few places where the waterfront is publicly owned, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. Now, every town on Mount Desert Island has a mix of town docks and boat ramps. The town docks that don't have a boat ramp associated with them often don't have any beach. And although you can go down onto the town dock and get to the water and walk out onto the dock and maybe bend down and put your hand in the water, there's no beach to sit on. You can, of course, fish from the dock or what have you. Now, at the places where there's a boat ramp, you can actually get down to the water easily by walking down the ramp, but that does not mean that there's a beach there. There are a few places where there are beaches. In Bar Harbor, for example, if you go down right next to the town dock, there is a boat ramp. And right next to the boat ramp, there's a small beach at low tide that you can access. And there's also the Bar Harbor Shore Path, which goes along the shore for a little over a quarter mile. There are a number of places from the shore path where you can access the beach. But that's pretty much it for Bar Harbor. There are not a lot of other places where you can get down to the beach. Mount Desert is a little bit better. You can get to the beach in the village of Seal Harbor. There's actually a town beach there. There's a parking lot that accommodates maybe 30 cars. And you can go down, and there's an actually fairly good-sized sandy beach. Not at high tide, though. The beach is only 10 feet wide at high tide. But at anything below high tide, there's quite a nice beach that you can walk on, you can sunbathe on, whatever. And it's right there. And during the summer, the town even has a restroom that you can use. So Seal Harbor is one of the better spots on the island for public access to a beach for no charge. And there's also beach access in Sommesville. Sommesville, right in the middle of the island at the north end of Somme Sound, has a town dock. And there's not really a beach, but you can get out on the rocks there. The only disadvantage to it is finding it. The road down to it looks just like a driveway, and if you don't know which road to take, you're going to end up in somebody's driveway. So you might ask around, maybe you can get instructions as to exactly which road to take, but you can go down there and access the water. And then also in Mount Desert, there is a boat ramp with access to the water, not really a beach, it's rocky, at Bartlett's Landing, which is up on the northwest side of the island, right across from Bartlett's Island, which is a large island just to the west of Mount Desert Island. And you can, you know, launch your boat there. It's not the best boat ramp in the world. It doesn't have a dock. But there are docks there, but unfortunately they're not right next to the boat ramp. And you can access the water there. And I'm going to show you the rest of the places that you can access the water. Now, another place you can access the water in Mount Desert is Northeast Harbor. And this is the Northeast Harbor boat ramp with the Northeast Harbor public dock right next to it. There's no beach here, but you can launch your boat and access the water here, right in Northeast Harbor. And there is a fee for the boat ramp. I don't know what it is. It says to ask the harbor master. And when I was shooting this video, I didn't feel like walking over there. So this is one place, water access, but no beach access. What about the town of Southwest Harbor? Well, Southwest Harbor has 3 town docks. 2 are on the north side of the harbor. If you go down Clark Point Road from Main Street, there are 2 town docks. There's no beach access at either one because even at low tide there's no beach there, but you can get to the water from the town docks, and there's plenty of parking at both of the town docks on the north side of the harbor. And finally, in Southwest Harbor, there's a town dock on the south side of the harbor, and that's where I am right now. So let's take a look at it. Okay, this is the Manset Town Dock in Southwest Harbor. And you can see it's good boat ramp. This is where we launch my boat. And you can easily get out on the rocky beach here. There's plenty of parking. Show you down here in this lot. So no problem with access. And over here a little bit, there is a tiny little beach. It's pretty close to high tide right now, so there's not much beach showing here, but you can access the water here. And I suppose if you really wanted to, you could sunbathe on this beach. This beach is used by a lot of people to launch kayaks. And that is water access in Southwest Harbor. So let's head over to Bass Harbor and Bernard and take a look at what the water access is over there. Okay, I'm in Bass Harbor now, and on the east side of the harbor, and you see that float down there. That's right next to the State Ferry Dock, and that is one of the town's water access floats. You can, if you moor your boat out here or maybe anchor out, you can come ashore there and walk up here. The problem with beach access here, though, or water access here, is there's almost no public parking, and that is a real issue. It's all paid parking, mostly for the ferry, and it is quite expensive. And that is the total public water access on the east side of Bass Harbor. So we're going to head over to the west side into the village of Bernard and have a look at water access over there. Now, that said, there are plenty of places from the road, like right here, where you can see the water. You just can't go down there, and because it's all private property. So we will head over to Bernard, and there are 2 water access points over there on the other side of the harbor. Now I'm over on the west side of Bass Harbor at the town of Tremont Town Wharf. And this is public water access. There's the actual town wharf right there with a couple floats. Now this is a very busy place for lobster fishing, and you can access the water here, but as you can see, there's no actual beach. And even if there was, there isn't really a way you can get down to it. Now over here on the other side of the town wharf, we come to the Tremont boat ramp at Bass Harbor. And this is pretty much one of the better boat ramps on the island. It's not very wide, but it has a dock on each side, which makes launching your boat pretty easy. So you can access the water here, no problem. And I suppose it's about almost high tide now. So there is a tiny little beach here that you could go on, but not exactly a place where you'd want to sunbathe. And we'll walk over to the other side and see what's over there. So this is a water access point, not really a beach point. Although there is, again, at anything other than high tide, a very small beach here, a rocky beach. So this is one of two places where you can access the water in Bernard on the west side of Bass Harbor. Now Bass Harbor, the village, Bernard, Seal Cove, West Tremont, and Center are all villages in the town of Tremont. So that's why this is the Tremont Town Wharf at Bass Harbor. So let's head over to the other water access point here in Bernard, and this, where we're headed, is an actual beach. Okay, now I'm out on the west side of Bass Harbor. That's the ferry dock straight across, and this is the other public beach area, and in fact it is the Watson Memorial Playground. And right here there is another natural seawall right down there, and this is public beach access. Now, it's pretty close to high tide right now, so there's not a lot of beach, but there is a nice little beach here. It's rocky, of course. There's room for maybe 3 or 4 cars to park here. And the way you get here is you drive over to Bernard and you head out into Bernard, and about 2/3 of the way down to the town dock you turn right on Lopus Point Road. That's L-O-P-A-U-S. And from there you just drive out until you get to a spot where you can see the water again, and then it's a left turn on a little gravel road, and here you are at a public beach. I'm just about 4 miles north of the Bernard turnoff, going up the west side of Mount Desert Island, and we're going to get to a road up here in just a minute that goes over to Seal Cove. And we just drove through the village of Seal Cove, such as it is. And this is the road. It's called Cape Road, and this road goes to Seal Cove. Now there is a Seal Cove Road that comes out here, but of course it doesn't actually go to the cove. So we go down here, maybe half a mile, and straight into the sun. So I'll film once we get down there. Okay, I'm about a half mile down Cape Road, and we are now at Seal Cove. That's what the water is right out here. And this is a cove off Blue Hill Bay. And I'm going to park and show you what there is here. Now, when you get to the Seal Cove area, there's a pretty good sized parking area alongside the road. And right across the road, the town of Tremont has a little picnic area right there with some picnic tables and a bench looking out over the water, and the Seal Cove boat ramp where you can launch your boat. And And there's even a tiny beach down here. That is sort of gravelly sand. Well, right now the tide is almost high, so there's not much beach, but at a lower tide there is a little tiny beach there. Just a little crescent that you can get down to. And this is the Seal Cove boat ramp, which is a good ramp. There's a nice dock beside it, and so you can launch your boat here and park your trailer over on the other side of the road. This time of year it's all lobster boats in here, but in the summer there are pleasure boats as well. So let's walk up into the picnic area. This is a nice little waterfront picnic area. It is going to be windy out here. I apologize for that, but we're going to be facing almost right into the wind and looking into the sun. And you can walk out here, you can sit down, have a picnic, sit on one of the benches and look out over Seal Cove and Blue Hill Bay. We walk down a little more, and as you can see, even now close to high tide, there's a narrow little beach, and there's much more beach when the tide is out. So, and this is public access. This belongs to the town of Tremont, and it's a nice place, particularly if you want to watch the sunset over Blue Hill Bay. That is pretty much straight west, so in the summer you get a really nice sunset over Blue Hill Bay. Now if we walk back out to the road, the public access continues for at least a quarter mile. That tree down there is the next public access parking spot, and there is a picnic table underneath it. And from up here you can walk down to the beach. So this is the best water and beach access point on the west side of Mount Desert Island that is not in Acadia National Park. It's a really pretty spot, particularly at sunset. And you can see how much parking there is. It is almost never full. And you can park along the side of the road here. So, as I said, this is public access, no fee. Just come down and enjoy access to the water and the small beaches here. And this is, as I said, in the town of Tremont. Okay, so that wraps up this video. If you found it interesting and enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, why don't you consider subscribing to my channel to see more content like this. And thanks for watching.